Welcome to our MitoArtisan Playtime session, Zebra, the horse of a different color and stripes. My name is Stephanie Harry. I'm the mom of a young man with LCHAD and the patient support coordinator at MitoAction. I will be introducing our session and managing the chat today. This is a very, very special session. In all that's going on in the world today, we are taking a moment to stop, be with, honor, and stand alongside those in our rare disease community. We are doing this on the Sunday before Rare Disease Day, and we are doing this by drawing zebras. Zebras? Some of you may already know why zebras have become a symbol for those in our rare disease community. But for those who haven't heard the story, the zebra was chosen to represent the rare disease community based on a quote from Dr. Theodore Woodward, who said, "When you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. And when you hear hoofbeats behind you, don't expect to see a zebra." Dr. Woodward used this metaphor to teach diagnosis of diseases. But as we know, especially in this community, this metaphor doesn't work. The rare disease community adopted the zebra to flip that understanding and to remind clinicians that we exist and we are important. So together, the week before Rare Disease Day, we are here to form a dazzle, which is a group of zebras, by bringing families and friends together to create our own zebras. First, I want to thank everyone joining us today, and I want to give a special thank you to all of our clinicians, geneticists, and scientists who think rare and work to help our rare disease community every day. We really, really appreciate all that you do. And a special shout out to Dr. Sanchez and her family for being here today. That was Christopher's geneticist at Emory University. We really, really love you and I'm glad that you're here. Our hope is that today, as we take time to draw our zebras, we will remember that we're not alone in our fight, that we're surrounded by others who love us and may be battling their own rare disease. Whether you have mitochondrial disease, a fatty acid oxidation disorder, or on your diagnostic journey, or are a friend, a family member of someone who is rare, you are important and your stories are important. We hope that you will take the zebras that you create and hang them somewhere this week where you can share with someone about something that is rare. Rare Disease Day is this Friday, February 28th, but you can talk about what is rare all week. Christine Knox is here with us today, and she is our fearless leader. She is a seasoned illustrator, quilter, artist, mito champion, and advocate, and will teach us how to draw our zebras. This session is being recorded, so you will have the opportunity to go back and review. It is okay if you start this project and need to take a break. We want you to go at your own pace. This session is about being creative and honoring each other and is not meant to be high pressure. The chat is open, so feel free to use this space to talk with other artists as we create. If you have a question for Christine, you can either unmute yourself and ask, or if you prefer, you can put it in the chat and I can ask Christine for you. If you're able to stay until the end of the session, we would love for you to share what you have created via Zoom. Please feel free to keep your videos on to enjoy each other's company. We just ask that you mute yourselves while you're not talking to give everyone a more pleasurable experience. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Christine Knox. Christine was born in Alberta, but was raised primarily in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Nature has always been a huge part of her life, spending many hours either in the rainforest or at the beach. Her creativity began with spending hours coloring in coloring books, filling every page very carefully. Then she moved to real drawings at about 10 years old. These early drawings were centered around her surroundings and family. Pencils and pencil crowns were the first tools she learned to draw with, so it's not surprising that they've become her preferred medium. Her favorite subjects to draw are animals and nature. For most of her adult life, Christine had to concentrate on regular income, so she trained as a floral designer and eventually opened her own floral design studio. When she became ill with mitochondrial disease at the age of 51, she had to close her business. She felt a deep sense of loss of purpose, but then she turned to her art, and that sense of purpose came back and allowed her to be creative in other ways. Currently, she does commissions for pet portraits with colored pencil and started painting with acrylics again. This has given her a flexible work schedule, which we all know is definitely helpful when you have mito. Thanks so much for joining us today. And Christine, thank you for helping us to explore Zebra, the horse of a different color and stripes.
It's my pleasure. I'm really excited to do this for everyone for rare disease. it just, obviously is part of my life and part of all of yours. And I really enjoy being able to offer this as a learning experience for everyone and an opportunity to share it with your outside world in whatever way you choose. Okay, so we've got both things up. Do you want to just spotlight the drawing, Stephanie?
Absolutely.
So what we're going to be working with today, hopefully you've all been able to download the line art and the reference photo. I've got the reference photo here beside me. And you can also sort of look at that if you don't have yours printed off and right beside you. And primarily what we're going to be working with is there's two different pens. And hopefully you were able to find them. So this is the ultra fine point pen by Sharpie. And so it's got a really, really tiny little point to it. And then the regular Sharpie, they call it fine, is, trying to get in the camera there, is this one here. We'll use that in larger areas. We could take a long time with this drawing and we don't really have that amount of time. So just work at your own pace and know that this will be recorded so you can always refer back to it if there's a part that you haven't completed of your drawing and you want to take more time. That's totally fine, not a problem at all. And then you have the option, I don't know if we'll get to it today, but you have the option of then coloring whatever parts of your zebra you'd like to color. You can color it in whatever rainbow colors you want, or do it all green, whatever it is you want. So I was thinking about doing mine with green, with the typical Mito sort of green color. But I'll see what I feel like doing at the end of it. So we'll see if we get anywhere near being able to do that today or not, but we'll try. So we're going to start in, now zebras, oh, sorry, back up for a second. So we've got apparently a few younger people joining us today, and they expressed an interest in how to draw something simple in terms of the zebra, rather than the complex line drawing that I provided. So I'm just going to show you quickly how I would sketch something like a zebra out. And horses are quite similar as well. So you can come use this same methodology as you would for a horse. So essentially, everything starts out with really basic shapes. So a horse or a zebra is kind of an oval shape. And then we're going to do a couple of ovals on the top. It looks really silly at first until you start to define it. And then and I'm drawing it kind of dark just so that it shows up on the camera. I normally would draw in and sketch in a much lighter amount of pencil just so that it was more readily erasable. So, and then we're going to give a little bit of the eyebrow, an eye showing there, a couple of little lines to represent the eyelash and the eye itself. I'm echoing the drawing we're doing today, just so you know that. So, and then the eye kind of goes around like that. We'll give it a pupil and a catch light. That's what the little reflection in eyes is called, is a catch light. So if you ever hear me say that term, that's what I'm referring to. And then we're going to give it its cheek here. The muzzle is always kind of angled, both in a horse and a zebra. They have kind of a funny rounded shape to their bottom of their fairly. And then we draw the neck. This is just the body coming behind, but we won't worry about that. Sort of drawing in the basic shapes. So then I take a moment and erase the sort of the overall kind of lines that we drew just to sort of give us that base. And that is, your basic sort of start to how you would draw a zebra. And then you would just add in all your stripes however you want. And the neat thing about zebras is every animal has its own unique stripe pattern. So that even speaks more to the rare disease community, because even if we have the same mutation, we all have different symptomology. It affects us differently. So I think zebras kind of even have more of a special meaning because of that too. It's not just about the hoofbeats part. So anyway, that's just a quick 5-minute little drawing tutorial that I was asked to do. So now we'll get into doing the big drawing. So I drew mine out on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And you'll notice that there's little marks on the stripes, some of the stripes, and those are the ones that we're going to draw in black. So just pay attention to that if you get kind of confused as to what stripe you're supposed to be drawing in white or what stripe's supposed to be in black. That'll help you kind of sort those details out. And then if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Your zebras, like I said, every zebra is different. So, we'll just go with whatever comes out of this. There's no stress with this drawing. There never will be with any of my drawings. So anyway, let's get started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to concentrate on some of the darkest areas and just use the thicker of the two Sharpies. And if you weren't able to get the ultra fine Sharpie or the fine point Sharpie, sorry, I'm just reading somebody's comment. Is it possible to draw the lines? Yeah, so I had a little bit of an issue with my printer, and I couldn't get it to print a good quality or scan, pardon me, a good quality image. So you'll quickly see, or is it the camera that you're having trouble, Matt, seeing the lines? Just wanting to clarify that. Feel free to unmute if you'd like. How is everyone else seeing the image? Are you able to see it okay? Because we can always.
I think so, Christine. I think as you draw too, I think Matt will be able to see the lines a little bit better.
For sure. Okay. All right. So we're going to get started on the head first. You'll notice I'm going to turn on another light here too and see if maybe that makes it easier for everybody to see.
I think it's actually better without the light.
Okay, just verifying. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we're just going to quickly do a few little just lines that just are really kind of flowing, replicating the hairlines as well as you can, but don't fuss about, having it be exactly how the lines are drawn on the drawing. It'll just come out however it comes out, and that's totally good. So you'll notice even in the mane, the mane also has stripes, which I think is so fun. So we're just kind of going to leave it just really simple like that. That's all the mane needs at this point. Then we'll go in and we'll do some of the darkest areas in the ear. And some of them I'm looking at the values that of the reference photo, and I'm just adding in the darkest values right now. We'll be going back and refining the drawing and with the ultra fine point and adding more details as we go along. So I'm just doing anywhere where there's really dark areas and just drawing those in. And it'll all start to come together after a bit. It initially looks a bit odd when you're just doing little segments and not filling everything in. Now I'm going to move down to the sort of more of the bottom of the zebra, just because it'll be a little bit easier to understand all of the markings as we go along, starting from the bottom and working up. Okay, so we're going to start right in the bottom left-hand corner. We'll fill in the first stripe. And this is how we're going to work all the way along. And what I may be doing with some of the stripes is not just filling them in kind of completely. I might, to give it more of that 3-dimension, I'll probably just fill in some of the stripe, and then we'll go back with the ultra fine point and fill in more of it. And let's do it in the nostrils right now, because they're going to be obviously the darkest areas as well down at this level. And then we'll do the stripes here. Now we've got the whiskers that show up here they're almost white and gray. So we're going to draw those in with the ultra fine point later. So don't worry about doing those right at the moment. We'll come back for those. We're just really doing a very simple, quick drawing. If I was drawing this on my own, I would probably mostly be using the ultra fine point, but we don't have enough time to do that. It would take a very long time to draw a full pen and ink drawing like I normally do. Those ones can take me 30 hours or more. And I knew that nobody here would have the capacity or the time to want to spend that long drawing today. So we're just doing a much simpler version. So a lot of the lines on the bottom of the zebra underneath his chin are all going to be dark because they're essentially in the shadow of the head. So we can do quite a bit of darkness through there. So let's move over to this side of the neck. And again, I'm going to just do parts of it in dark and parts of it not. And feel free to not do exactly what I'm doing. Like, you know, if you see that an area appears to you to be darker, feel free to make it as dark or as light as you like. I'm just trying to move us along as quickly as I can so that we have an opportunity to chat and enjoy each other. As well. How's everyone doing? I go at a fair speed. Don't feel you have to go at this speed by any stretch. You take your time and do whatever you feel comfortable doing.
And if you've never drawn a zebra before, share an emoji in the chat.
Yeah, I'd love to know how everybody thinks of this too as we go along. Like, are you finding it interesting to draw in this way? Like, share how it is for you. Because it helps me to know what people might want to learn. If you tell Stephanie and I what you're interested in learning, I'd be happy to come up with a course. And we're always looking for other people who want to lead and show us their art, whatever it might be. It could be knitting, it could be anything. Whatever your ability is, we would love to see what you do, how you do it. You know, we have a large, talented community, and I think this is an opportunity for us to all shine in our own ways. And I get that not everybody is comfortable being on camera and those kinds of things, and I get it, because at one time I was so shy I could not speak in public. I could not do any of that kind of thing. So I get how it can be hard for people to do that. So it's absolutely no pressure. But if you're interested in doing it, we would love to have you join our team. And Stephanie is a wonderful support person. Like, she gets everything organized for you to be able to just teach and show us what you do. And it can be just a casual conversation. You don't necessarily need to like do a whole demo like I'm doing. So it's totally customizable to whatever you feel comfortable with. Well, this is moving along at a fair pace, which is great. And like I said, if you're struggling in any way, please pop on and let us know.
Christine, you mentioned that public speaking was hard for you. How did you overcome that?
I with my business, I had to learn to do networking. And so as a result of that, I had to learn to public speak more and teach. And what I discovered is I'm not good at just talking. Um, how I work in terms of public speaking is by demonstrating something, and showing people something, and that is how I can do it. Otherwise, I might be a babbling fool and bore you all to tears.
I think drawing helps me to better focus. When I was in high school, apparently my theater teacher noticed that I doodled a lot, which could get you in trouble in school. But she pointed out, it was just in the middle of class. She said, everybody learns differently. Let's take Stephanie, for example. She's like, she doodles in my class all the time, but I don't take offense to it because I know she's hearing me that way. And she wasn't being funny. She was just acknowledging. And it's kind of stuck with me because I do realize, yeah, I do think better when I'm drawing.
Yeah, I was that way too, Steph. I spent a lot of my time in class doodling. Part of it for me, and I don't know if this is the same for you, but part of it was I was bored silly in school at times, because you're having to learn at the same pace as kind of the slowest learner in the class. And not that I was a brilliant student by any stretch of the imagination, but there was just some things I was faster at than other kids. And so you have to find ways to keep yourself from being bored. And for me, it was always sketching. And it was a great way to make the time pass and not be bored. So So the eye on the right side is not very detailed, or sorry, on the left side is not very detailed. So I've just done like one little line for the moment, and we'll go back in to do the more of the detail with the finer pen. But this is just giving us all our big stripes, and I'm not necessarily following like line for line that's on the reference photo. Sometimes I kind of make it up a little bit, and let's see, I'm gonna go next.
Did you have a
Uh,
template that you printed out, or is everybody
what
freehand?
I I I found a really good reference photo on Pixabay, and I downloaded it, and then I just did the line drawing from the reference photo. And how I transfer my reference photo or my sketch, because I don't always have the time to be able to draw something like right from scratch.
Mhm.
I do that, but not always. And so then what I do in those circumstances is I just use graphite paper, like it's kind of like a carbon paper,
Right.
and I will transfer the drawing. So I'll draw like right over top of the reference photo with the carbon paper underneath, and then I can capture the drawing that way, and it
Or a
just,
light box if you have one.
or a light box will work as well. Totally, yeah. So you'll notice if you're really into looking at the details of the zebra, I actually have kind of gone off the drawing a little bit because it was hard to distinguish, you know, where some of the lines went. So I'm kind of just going with it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So don't stress if your lines are not going exactly where they were. The biggest thing is you want to maintain the stripe effect. As long as you're doing that, it's totally fine. We've just got a few more of the bigger stripes to do. And then we can start with the finer pen.
Christine, do you get more nervous working with marker because it's more permanent, or do you always feel like you can adjust and adapt as you go along?
Um, I don't work with markers a ton. I do, I, what I typically use is a technical pen, which is much finer and I can be much more controlled with it. But because this is a quick drawing, we're using more of the permanent marker. And so it's a little bit more frightening, just because of that sort of permanency to it. You don't want to mess up, but I don't get particularly nervous about using it either. It's just kind of being aware that I have to be a little bit more careful of where I place my lines and how I do what I'm doing. Okay, so you'll notice the muzzle is really dark, but I don't want to just like do a massive dark area, even though it is quite dark. So we're going to break it up with using the fine pen, and I'm going to show you a bunch of ways of creating darker marks without it being like totally black, because the muzzle is not totally black. It's sort of um, shades of gray. And I mean, if this was in color, the zebra actually looks quite brown around the muzzle some of the time. So it's a different sort of look when you're drawing in color. Even though zebras are black and white, they actually have a lot of other colors to them as well. Okay, so we're done with the larger pen. We're going to switch to the smaller pen. And when you're using the ultra fine point, you typically will do a lot of cross hatching. Actually, I'm going to pull this paper off over. So you'll do things like maybe do just straight lines, and then you'll do cross lines. But where this is an animal, I'll typically do more directional, like little lines, because then it kind of echoes like what the fur might look like. And zebras have really, really short hair. It's not long at all. And the darker I want the area to be, the more little lines I will put in until it gets to the right value. And so value, just for people who maybe aren't as familiar with some of those terms, is just the darkness or the lightness. So, and then if we go like really out to a lighter area, we just put a few little lines. We don't put as many. And we could just draw straight lines. We can do, lots of little dotted sort of lines. So just play with your textures with your pen, and practice those kinds of things, and you'll be quite amazed at the detail that you can get drawing something. So we're going to start with the eye on the right side. We're going to make sure we preserve the catch light. And then the rest is just going to be done with little lines. And I'm going to curve them a little bit because an eye, of course, is curved. So because it's not a very big eye, it doesn't take much to fill it. And then we'll go over and do the other eye. And you'll notice that zebras have really cute little eyelashes. So you can even include a few little eyelashes there. I'll put a couple over here eventually. And there's a little, almost like they have like almost an eyeshadow as well. So I'm just kind of drawing that in a little bit. And then there's also a grayed area just underneath the eye. Put that in. So it starts to give it a bit more detail using the smaller pen. And we can even include some lines to give it a bit more of a contour to sort of illustrate the fact that it's actually a three-dimensional animal, not just a flat drawing. So the way we do that is with drawing the lines and those things. We can't draw three-dimensionally like that. So we do that by using lines and shadows and things like that, just to kind of give that dimensionality. And so using the smaller pen is when we can put in like much more delicate lines around the outer perimeter, and kind of even make it look a little hairy by just sort of drawing some teeny little lines. I'm just kind of doing that kind of randomly on the outside edge here. You don't need to put it everywhere. It's not like a straight line, because that would not look terribly realistic. So yeah, being kind of a little bit more sketchy when you're coming to that. part of things. I'm darkening up some of these stripes now, but not filling them in because they're the shadowy part of the stripe and not like a solid color or solid black. And this is where you can also go with the finer point. You can go in and you can add a little bit more or straighten your lines a little bit if the lines are wobbly. This is a way to fix that with the smaller, finer tip. Now I keep looking at my reference photo and just replicating what I'm seeing to the best of my ability. Is there any questions in the chat that I need to answer?
There haven't been any questions yet, but there is a beautiful picture of a multicolored zebra.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that Jan put in there, and several people that are enjoying just watching the zebra come to life. Fun fact, zebra stripes are as unique to each zebra as our fingerprints are unique to us, Pamela mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why I find zebras fascinating to draw. I've done quite a number of drawings because they just, each one is so unique that it really does make it quite fun to draw them.
If anyone knows any other fun zebra facts, feel free to put them in the chat. Something that my mother-in-law pointed out is that we have to think about what kind of words we want to write on top of our zebras, and think about where do you want to hang your zebras? Is it going to be in your car? Is it going to be, my husband is a kindergarten teacher, maybe it's in his classroom.
Oh, I missed a stripe. And in this stripe right here.
Oh, Cindy, if you're trying to ask a question, it didn't come through.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so we're almost to the muzzle, and that's going to probably take us the most time because it's quite dark-ish. As I said, you have to pay attention to value. So I'll explain a bit more about how we're going to do that as we get there. That's why I left it for last, because I thought it would be a little bit more time consuming. So I wanted to make sure I gave you enough of a basis to go with on your own. If you're still working on your zebra later.
Christine, what is your favorite animal to draw?
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know. I mean, I draw a lot of dogs and cats because that's what I do to sort of feed my art professionally. So probably I would say dogs and cats. I can't really pick one over the other. So I'm
And
just doing some finer lines here, joining up some of the stripes at the top of the head. It's the top of the head has quite a bit of detail that was hard to capture with the thicker pen.
could you share a little bit about how your Mito has changed your artwork?
Sure. So I guess the biggest change has just been trying to find the energy to do it as often as I would like. But it also has given me the opportunity of going back to my artwork, which was an absolute gift. What I really find really important to me is just being able to use my art as a what I say that as a tool to support my journey with my disease. It's like hard to find the words sometimes. Like when I was first diagnosed and first got sick, my energy level was really poor. And I was extremely depressed about having to give up my business and needing to go in a whole different direction. And so when I first was sick and I hadn't gone back to my artwork, I was really struggling mentally. And so being able to go back into drawing again gave me that feeling of like I had something valuable to offer the world again. And that really made a huge difference to my mental health. And I think that whatever abilities we have, if we can just take even just a little bit of time to do that, anything that feeds your soul, I think is very critical for us in the rare disease community to really allow ourselves the time to explore anything that feeds us. And that's certainly what I've done with my artwork, is really let it feed me. Because you can be feeling so down and struggling so many times. And then for me, when I start drawing, it's like the pain goes away, the tiredness goes away. And a lot of times I just have to really sort of be disciplined about stopping and giving myself a break, because I just get carried right away and just keep going and going and going, because I get so out of my head and out of my body, and I'm just drawing, and before I know it, hours can go by sometimes, and I feel really, really good. Tired at the end, but good at the same time, because it energizes me.
I really appreciate you sharing that. It's so important that we find things that feed our soul and that we can sit with. There's so much, that one has to take care of when they have a rare disease. But it's equally important to be able to take care of your spirit.
Definitely. Yeah. I think that's one of the lessons that I've learned that's been the most valuable is, how important it is to look after your mental well-being. And I had a social worker one time talking to me, and that because I was struggling with my diagnosis, and she said, "But you're so positive." And I went, "Yeah." I said, like, is it going to help me to sit there and kind of cry and be upset about, what's happened? Or is it better for me to just kind of find something that's going to feed my soul and keep me from going a little crazy sometimes? Which, it's not like every day is perfect. I can manage all my symptoms and do everything. There's lots of days where I'm like all of you, where I just can barely function. But whenever I can, I'm drawing and trying to keep myself feeling positive. So I'm just doing lots of little drawings or little lines in the drawing now. that are just going to fill in that muzzle area. And you'll notice I'm sort of doing like little lines in one direction, then I change the direction just a slight bit. And I'm just looking at where the darkest areas are in the muzzle area. And where they're really dark, I'm going to be adding more detail, more lines to increase the depth and the tonality of that area. Like there's this area right here is where the mouth is. It almost looks like he's got his tongue stuck out at us. And so I'm making that area the darkest, just above that area. And so you'll see there, I've left under where his tongue looks to be as being darker. And same with underneath the tongue, it's darker. And then I'm going to lighten it up here because it is lighter.
There's a really fun fact that Pamela shared with us. She said, oh, I lost it because it just, hold on 1 second and I will. Okay, here it is. The other zebra fact, this is from Pamela. She said that I found is that zebras stand really close together when a predator is around. The predator gets confused as to where one zebra starts or ends. The stripes blend together and look like a blob of black and white stripes.
They do, yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
That's a beautiful metaphor.
When I've seen them at zoos and stuff, I've not had the fortune of being able to go to Africa to see them there, but when I've gone to the zoos, and I quite often when I go to a zoo, I take my sketchbook and I'm drawing things. And I know one time I was trying to draw this zebra, and of course they all kept moving together, and it was hard to distinguish, well, which zebra was which. So I can well imagine that for lions and other predators, it would be hard to figure that out. Mother Nature has the perfect camouflage for so many animals. It's so fascinating. So that can be, the muzzle area can be darkened up even more in patches now that we've kind of got sort of that overall kind of look of it. So now I'm just going to refine it just that little bit more. Just to try to give it that three-dimensionality. I'm just going to darken up some areas, lighten up some other areas by only having a few lines, as I've already put in. Like I said, if I was drawing this on my own and not, being worried about time, I could spend 30 hours or more drawing this drawing. So don't feel that whatever yours is looking like, if you're not able to draw as fast as me, I wouldn't expect that would be something you'd be able to do unless you've had a ton of drawing experience. So don't feel you have to have gone as far as I've gone today. Okay, so this is where I'm going to come just look at the reference photo and see where else I need to put a few lines just to give that that three-dimensional quality to it. So here on the sides of the face, before it turns into the neck, it needs a bit, and as it sort of turns into the neck, it needs a bit of contour. I'm just going to add a few lines along there. Open up this stripe. It can be quite sketchy with this part of things. You don't have to do a whole kind of detail. It's just kind of just popping in a few lines here and there to give that dimensionality. Here again to create that dimension, because where it's going to have the most light is in the center with this particular giraffe. And then it's darker here because it's underneath the muzzle. It's going to be darker over here a little bit because of this is the back of the animal, kind of its hind end. So we're just going to give a little bit more shadow over here. And a little bit more up here. And I think now we'll go to the ears and the mane. So with the mane, we can put now some finer lines coming down to give a better idea of the hair. So just adding in little straight lines that will just get a little bit longer than the other ones that I've drawn, because the hair on the mane, of course, is quite a bit longer. So when you're drawing animals, one of the things to think about is what kind of hair do they have? What is it? Is it curly? Is it straight? Is it really dense? Is it really fine? You look at all of those kind of details, and if you try to focus on those, capturing those details, you're going to be able to create a more realistic drawing. I'm just shading in a little bit of the details of the ear. And of course, there's lots of little hairs that are in there. So I'm doing kind of cross hatching and little squiggly lines. It's kind of anything that kind of gives the effect of those ears. Your lines are probably going to look different from my lines, and that's totally fine. And then the ear also has some shading, so I'm just going to do a few lines to replicate that.
I'm trying to do the chat. Oops. My husband came in to say hello. They're doing it downstairs, and I forgot I wasn't on mute. He said he was looking at my zebra. It's coming along. It's coming along.
Yeah, if anybody wants to share their zebras even as they're working on it, that's fine too. And then we'll do a big dazzle at the end. Whoever wants to share. And if you're shy and you don't want to, that's totally fine too.
All right, we're a little bit shy, but we have Josie's.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna move the spotlight. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Let's see, add a spotlight. There we go. I love that, Josie.
Yeah. Awesome, Josie.
That's beautiful.
Good job.
Cool.
And I think I saw somebody in the Jennifer Harry crew show theirs, but I missed it. So let me spotlight it. All right, let's see. All right, that looks great. Is that
Nice.
Justice or Pax? Whose zebras is that? You're muted though, so I don't know.
Hey,
Hey, or maybe it's
Justice.
Pete's. Justice.
Mine.
Nice.
That's
I love that.
great. Good job.
There's Pax.
Nice. Awesome.
There's Pete.
Oh, that's
Good
great.
job, guys. Fantastic.
Does anybody else want to show their progress so far? Go ahead, Kayla. I see your hand up. Hold on, it takes me a second. Oh, there's another one. All
Oh,
Jen.
awesome.
right, there's Kayla's.
Guys are
I
doing
love
great.
that.
Oh, wow.
All right, who else? Anybody else? Oh, okay, hold on. I see Nylan. Hold on one second. Let's see. There. Oh, I love
Nice.
that.
Awesome. I love what you've done with the words.
That's really pretty. Happy little zebra. Is that what it says at the top? I love that.
Nice. I like it.
All right, hold on. I see a couple more, so I'm gonna add a couple
Okay.
more spotlights.
Yeah. Yeah. Go for it.
Oh, nice. Is that
Awesome.
Candace or Ben's? Or was it a family?
It's mine.
Good job. Good
Yeah.
job.
Some helpers.
No, it's great. That's great. Good job, Candace, Eva,
I'm
and
so
Ben.
impressed. You guys are doing fabulous.
All right, hold on. We have another one. I see Kevin's. All right, Kevin. I love the
Awesome.
mohawk too. That's like impressive. That's great. Oh, wait, I think my husband has his up. Hold on one second. Good job, Ryan.
Oh.
I love that.
I'm impressed. You guys have all done a fabulous job.
Oh, and there's
yeah.
Christopher's.
Good job, Christopher.
All right. More zebras. I see. Oh, I love the blue. That's
Oh, that
really
looks incredible.
fun.
This is Sam. She's 6.
Good
Hi.
job, Sam.
Good job, Sam. You did amazing.
All right. Oh, Lucinda, I see you. Hold on one second. Oh, Lucinda, I love that.
I had to freehand it because I didn't have the printout, so I did the best.
It's beautiful. And I love your Mito fun. And I love the eyeballs too. Those are super fun. All right. I see. All right. Carla is showing a zebra. Carla, do you want to talk about that zebra? Oh,
Oh,
it was there. And then you were
there.
doing yours on your iPad. That's fun.
Yeah, Carla's really, really good using Procreate.
Oh, that's
Good job,
beautiful.
Carla. That looks amazing.
Let's see. I'm gonna make sure that I got everybody. Oh, and I see I'm gonna spotlight.
Everyone here is just so talented.
Oh, Dr. Sanchez, your zebra is
Oh, that's
beautiful.
great.
I'm hoping to bring it to our Rare Disease Day event. So I'm gonna hope to make it justice.
I love it. I love her lips too. They're very pronounced.
That was not the best part.
Oh, well, it's in the forefront, so. Let's see.
I
Okay,
love how
Stacy.
everyone's is different. Like, we're all going along with the same image to start with. Oh, look at all the other things you've done. That looks
I love your
fantastic.
mitochondria. That's amazing in the
Right.
DNA tree. I love that, Stacy.
Awesome.
So creative. And Christopher's waving hello too.
Christopher.
Back. Everyone is so very talented. Oh, I see another picture. Hold on. Add spotlight. We'll do that. Oh, and this one is yellow. You guys are so creative with your colors. I love it.
That's cool.
This one's Andy. She's 11.
Good
With-
job, Andy.
Awesome.
I love the sister power going on in there.
You guys are rocking it. Absolutely brilliant work, guys. So I have a question for everybody. The next course that I'm going to do, what would people like to learn to draw?
So,
Feel
oh,
free to
sorry,
put
we have one
the-
more zebra. That's
Oh, okay.
beautiful, Rosia.
Oh, awesome.
All the way from England. Rosia and Ben. I love it. Oh, we have some requests. Penguin.
Penguins, okay.
I do. I love a good penguin. Whale.
Well, a whale right away speaks to me because I live on the west coast of Canada, and we have whales around quite often. We have two different types of whales. Well, sorry, we have more than one type of whale in the area, but we have resident killer whales, and then we have transient killer whales. And so I see sometimes when I go down to the beach, I see one or the other of the pods, and it's just I'm always just so fascinated with them and intrigued by them. Carla and I were at a retreat this weekend that we both got back from, and we saw a seal in the water, which was cool.
There are a lot more requests for animals. And so here I'm going to name them all for you. We have not just whale, but we have llama, cat, cheetah, and I think that's it. Christopher put, oh wait, snow leopard, polar bear.
Actually, I'm drawing a polar bear right now, and he's looking up at the northern lights. And one of my next projects that I'm going to do is, because of everything that's going on politically, and I won't go there too deeply, but just I'm feeling like I need to do something to really celebrate the country that I live in Canada. And so I'm going to do some Canadian animals. Specifically, what I'm going to do is a moose. And I've had a number of close encounters with moose over my life, so it kind of is fun to be able to actually draw one. So I can keep fussing with this forever, but I think I'm happy with how it looks right at the moment. And so I'm probably going to leave that where it is. But if you have any questions, so one thing I didn't, because we were looking at zebras, one thing that I didn't say is to give the zebra's mane a little bit more realism. Just do a bunch of lines coming out like real quick, letting your pen just sort of quickly sort of fly off the paper, and that really gives the hair look and makes it look real fun.
Do you have any tips for people? I said some people have already colored their zebras in. Do you have any tips though for us who haven't done that yet? Like,
So,
how would you handle that?
What I would do is say in the, I mean, there's a number of different ways to, hang on, I just have to sharpen my pencil. It's going to be noisy for 1 sec. So what I was thinking about doing with my drawing, if I decide to color it, I'm not sure if I'm going to, is kind of do the same idea of the way we were drawing with the finer tip pen, is just you can color all the stripes in, or you can just do like highlighted areas where it's a little shaded. So like, for instance, on the underside of the cheek here, I might color it in that area in little sort of spots. And then like wherever I want to give it a little bit more dimensionality, that might be where I do a bit of coloring in. Or I could just go over the whole thing. And what I would not do is go over the black lines though, because like the full stripe, because that would kind of blur out the zebra a little bit. So that's how I would approach it, but there's no right or wrong way to go about it. And then the last step that I would do is take an eraser that's not going to make marks like one of the pink erasers. They typically leave marks, but I would just go over it and get rid of all my lines that I had for drawing, and that just cleans the image up. And then sometimes when you've done that, you look at it and go, oh, I missed a line here or there or whatever. And so you can go back in and draw more or anything like that. So that's a nice final step to do. And my marker go. Oh, there it is. Like this might be a time where I see, maybe I could make a little bit more detail here or there. But it's always tricky to know when to stop with a drawing. And sometimes, you can work it and then you end up not happy with the results because you've worked it too much. And sometimes you just need to spend a lot of time on doing a drawing because there's a lot of details that you need to capture. So everybody's going to approach drawing a little bit differently, and that's great. So I think I'm going to call my zebra done, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions you might have, or just chit chat about how your creativity feeds you and what things you like to do creatively. Not everybody is a drawer like me, but if you do something else creative, oh, that looks fabulous. The blue, love it.
And one of the things that Andy said in the chat is that she's going to write on her paper that she this one thing to write on your paper is happy to be myself. And that's what I wrote on my paper. Happy to be myself.
Nice. I like that.
Are there other thoughts about what you'd like to write on your zebra or ways that you're going to share your zebra? And feel free to keep sharing your zebras. I'm going to kind of keep going through this reel. If you want to show your zebra again, I will spotlight you.
I haven't decided what I'm going to write on mine. I'm sort of sitting with that and thinking about that for a bit. But I think what I might do is something like love my rare or something like that. I was thinking, haven't quite nailed it down yet.
Kevin said that he's an elementary librarian. He said, so we're all reading All My Stripes this week and also mentioning Nord. That's amazing.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Oh, Nylene, My Special Stripes. I love that.
That's awesome. Love my rare. Yeah, that's a good one.
I was just putting it down, just. I like how Stacy's had the mitochondria next to it too. I might have to add a
I
mitochondria to
do.
mine. Yeah.
You know what you could always do too is actually draw a mitochondria within the stripes.
Oh, that's a neat idea.
That would be fun. I would have done that if I thought about it. Didn't think about that till now. I just realized that I didn't quite finish this this ear.
Here. I think that is the hard thing to know when it's finished because I find that when I'm drawing something, I think it's done and then I leave and come back and I'm like, well, just one more thing. And sometimes if you
Yeah,
change that one little line, it makes all
it
the
makes a big
difference.
difference. Like now that ear looks like it's a bit more dimension. You got a bit more dimension to it too. So I didn't quite capture all of the tonality of it.
Oh, Jane had a good idea. She
Oh,
said you could
yeah,
add a mitochondria to the ear.
that's right. Yeah, that would be a good spot to do that.
Any other thoughts about where to hang your zebras up this week? I was trying to decide. I could put mine in the window of my office, but that's really high, so I don't know that people would actually see that. But I might try putting a lamp behind it because then maybe people will see it from the street. I work from home, so there's not as much visibility in. But I'm gonna see if my husband will take his to his classroom.
And if you want to take pictures of your zebra wherever you end up putting it, and then sharing those on your social media, you know, talking about your disease, that would be a great way to do it too.
Yeah, Stacy just said she's gonna share it on Facebook. So
Hmm.
feel free to share it on Facebook. And I'm not really great with Facebook, but I know there's a way that you can link MitoAction in. So if somebody sees it and they see the mitochondria and want to learn more, it's a great way to learn more. Um, and Kristen said if you participate in virtual calls, you can take a photo and make a virtual background with it. Oh, that's a great idea, Kristen. I might have to have you show me how to do that.
Sure
I would
thing. We can work it out together.
I love it.
My daughter is my tech person, and I was having troubles getting my cameras to. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, there's whiskers that you can include here. Is they have whiskers coming off their muzzle, so I'm just adding a few whiskers.
I love your drawing, Kayla. It's beautiful.
Good
Oh,
job.
and she put the mitochondria in the ears. I see that. See the little
Nice.
green mitochondria? That's nice.
Oh, so somebody's putting do your Facebook is that or pound MitoAction? Yeah, right, pound.
It's either or the pound or the at, and it should link it. At least if you
Okay.
click on it, it might go there. It might not as Facebook. You know.
Thanks, Lucinda. And I should mention too, there are a couple other sessions that we've done that Christina's led. So if you're interested in taking a look at some of those videos, they're also on our website. Or if you want to learn more about mitochondrial disease, there's lots of different info on our website. And this coming up week, there'll be some thank yous being sent out to clinicians and one of the things that I love about our community is that we're community, that we stand with each other, and we really do, like every day, create a dazzle. And so I just want to thank everybody for being you, for being here today and joining us, and taking the time just to be with each other. Sometimes that's what we need for a boost, is just to be with each other. There's so much going on right now, but it is special just to have this time and to learn something new. I've never drawn a zebra before. I definitely have to finish myself. Here, I'll show you guys what I've done so far. But I really appreciate everyone taking the time to do this today. Here, I'll show you mine. He's coming together. He's missing an eyeball, but he'll eventually have one.
Good job. I'm amazed you were able to draw it all, Stephanie, with trying to moderate and everything. That's so way to go.
Thanks.
You're not good at multitasking, but I don't believe it.
Well, now I have to figure out how to take my video off, Christine. Let's see.
I like Matt's. I can put a sign on it that says "Mito, go away and don't come back another day" or something like that. It just went away just as I was finishing. Oh, somebody else is holding theirs up.
Oh, okay.
Kayla.
Okay. Oh, double rare Mito
There we go.
and
I'm
unknown. That's
I'm-
right.
I'm there too with you. I get it.
I see you, Rachel. Hold on one second. Oh, hey.
That
Hey,
looks great.
Elena. That's beautiful.
I had
Nice.
to freehand because we couldn't find the file.
Oh,
Okay.
that's beautiful, though. Elena's an
Awesome.
amazing artist. Let's see. Anybody else want to show the last preview before we head off? Okay. Hold on. Oh, I see a couple more. All right, so I'm going to go through. So just keep holding them up. There we go. Oh, and it looks pink. I like that.
Awesome. Another option that you could do. Oh, there's an
Multicolorful.
example, a rainbow effect. I was just I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, you can do. Oh, and that one's great. I love the blue and the yellow. Awesome. And the other thing you could do, oh, that looks fantastic. Great job, Carla. Is you could always shade, like if you were doing, that's looking good. It's looking like a zebra.
Nice.
Awesome.
I love the shading.
Yeah. So that was the other thing I was going to say is in the areas where, like say the muzzle area, you could go like a darker blue over here and then a lighter blue in the center and then a darker over here, just to give that dimensionality again. You can do that with color even easier than you can with just black and white and two sizes of pens. So yeah, don't be afraid to layer your colors on top.
All right, guys. Well, I think that we are headed towards the end. If anybody has any other questions for Christine before we go.
Thanks very much for drawing with me, everyone. It's always fun for me to do it. And
Nylan actually has a question.
oh, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I just wanted to say thanks for the great lesson. This was fun.
My pleasure.
Happy.
Happy. Somebody said happy. Happy Rare Disease Day, everyone. We are so
Yes.
glad that you're here, and we were so glad to have this time with you. Thank you for sharing it with us, and thank you guys for being you, and know that we're in this together. And oh my gosh, AI just took over and sent hearts out, so I didn't know it can do that. Let's see if it does
I
it
like
again.
that. Let's
If
see how
everyone
many
wants to
hearts we can
try.
make. That's fun.
Have a wonderful day, and know that you are not alone in this journey, and that we just really appreciate being able to hold space for each other. I look forward to seeing everyone soon.
Hey, Stephanie.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Stephanie.
everybody,
Thanks,
for
Christine.
joining us.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.
From the Monticello crew, we thank you so much for coordinating this, Stephanie. And thank you, Christine, for doing this. We checked out her website and it's like phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
It's just so incredible. So thank you again.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for drawing with me. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.